Yesterday, Donald Trump made a surprise visit to Afghanistan to be with the troops on Thanksgiving. A lot of people gave him respect and credit for doing so because instead of being with his family, sitting in luxury at a golf resort or at the White House eating delicious food, he took an overnight flight, which I can't imagine was comfortable, landed in Afghanistan. Well, it's Air Force One, so it's probably not that bad. But he lands in Afghanistan. He spends his Thanksgiving holiday among the troops and then had to take a late return flight. So not the hardest thing in the world, but respectable, right? Of all the things you could have done. Well, the media decided to run this story. Well, I shouldn't say the media, but at least one news outlet, Newsweek. How is Trump spending Thanksgiving? Tweeting, golfing, and more. But you know what? A lot of people ratioed this reporter, Jessica Kwong. Ratioing is when someone replies to your tweet but doesn't share it, so the number is disproportionate. Normally, someone will retweet it, they won't respond, but when most people are responding, you're getting a ratio. It's not always bad, but sometimes is. See, the thing is, around the same time she dropped this story claiming that Donald Trump was going to Mar-a-Lago and golfing, he was in fact on a secret flight to Afghanistan to be with the troops. Something much more respectable, right? But I tell you this, Donald Trump set them up, and I think he knew it. I think Trump played the media for fools. You see, Jessica Kwong didn't make up that Donald Trump was tweeting. She was looking at the president's schedule. The bigger question, though, from a lot of people is, why were they ready to write this hit piece? That's the real thing. I think Donald Trump knew they were going to do it. I think he set them up on purpose. I think he planned this out as a PR move, and he made the press look bad. But you know what? They deserve it. Instead of fact-checking, calling, they look at the itinerary and say, Trump's golfing. Nope. Not true. Not true at all. But here's the thing. Trump probably knew the media was going to insult and smear because he was going to be golfing and tweeting or whatever. He knew it. So he said, why don't we go and do something nice for the troops and go and visit them? And then the media is going to run rampant with the fake news. And as soon as he lands, they're going to see, aha. They're going to say, aha, I got you. Now, I don't want to insinuate Trump was pulling a gotcha move. It was a surprise visit to Afghanistan, so it wasn't announced. The funny thing is, though, these journalists were so quick to be like, as soon as I see what Trump's done on Thanksgiving, I'm going to insult him for it. He should be doing something better on Thanksgiving. What was he supposed to be? When I first saw this story, it's like, how is Trump spending Thanksgiving, tweeting, golfing, and more? I was like, I don't care. This was before we found out he went to Afghanistan. I was like, good for him. It's Thanksgiving. It's like, dude, you want to complain about Trump golfing? I hear you. He spent a lot of money on golfing, okay? He talks about giving up his salary. Respectable, but how much money is spent protecting the president and traveling about going to these golf clubs? Yeah, okay. But I'll tell you what. At least give the guy Thanksgiving. This is what's crazy to me. It was Nate Silver who said, the liberals seriously can't give Trump one good day. Dude, if you told me that Trump was spending Thanksgiving in a jacuzzi with his feet up and a team of masseuses massaging his body and getting a mani-pedi, I'd be like, awesome. It's Thanksgiving, dude. People are allowed a holiday to relax and enjoy themselves, be it golfing, tweeting, or otherwise. If you want to complain about Trump golfing some other time, fine. But remember the Baghdadi thing? They tried claiming Trump was actually golfing while that was going on. Another round of fake news. I think Trump knew it based on what happened with Baghdadi, and he was like, this is going to be hilarious. I think they knew this is exactly what's going on. Here's what happens next. Here's the original story. How is Trump spending Thanksgiving, tweeting, golfing, and more? So what? Why is this news? Who would write about this? I'm sorry, okay? Jessica Kwong, she read the itinerary, she got played, but seriously, dude, why write about it? I mean, I guess you could do a blurb. I guess no big deal. There's probably an editor saying, you want to write up what the president's doing for Thanksgiving? Sure, but if he was golfing, it's Thanksgiving. The little sentence like, Trump's enjoying the holiday. End of story. Is that news? That's crazy to me. But here's the thing. She says that it's according to his schedule. So what ends up happening, let me just read for you. President Donald Trump has been spending his Thanksgiving holidays at the Mar-a-Lago Resort in Palm Beach, Florida, which he calls the Winter White House, and this year is no exception. Ooh, bad timing on this story. On Thursday morning, the president sent out a tweet wishing Americans a happy Thanksgiving holiday. Listen, how is Trump spending his Thanksgiving? Tweeting. Yes, he tweeted Happy Thanksgiving. Why is this news? Oh, man, he played the media, man. You know what? Technically, he didn't. Technically, Trump didn't do anything. You might argue he was trying to make the media look bad. Okay, no, hold on. Trump just did stuff, and the media walked right into it. That's their own fault. They say the president and First Lady Melania departed from Washington, D.C. for the holiday weekend at Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday afternoon. Trump held a campaign rally that evening in Sunrise, Florida, which is about 50 miles southwest of his resort, in which he claimed that there are people who want to change the name of Thanksgiving. His claim caused war on Thanksgiving to trend on Twitter. And it's really funny how the media is claiming that's not true, because it is true. It's so weird. It's like literally not every single liberal or leftist is saying change the name of Thanksgiving, therefore it's fake news. Like, no, there was an op-ed. There was a couple articles. Some activists wanted to do it. It's not like the Happy Holidays thing where that appears everywhere, which I don't even care, man. I'm going to call it Thanksgiving. Never going to change for me. Fine, whatever. Trump proclaimed November 28th as a national day of Thanksgiving to encourage all Americans to gather in homes and places of worship to offer prayers, a prayer of thanks to God for our many blessings. He spent Thanksgiving Eve from mid-morning to mid-afternoon playing golf at his Trump International Golf Club. It was closed to the press according to his public schedule. And there it was. Trump actually boarded a secret flight to Afghanistan overnight so he could land in Afghanistan for Thanksgiving Day and spend it with the troops. What a play. What a play, right? They go on to talk about, whatever. They say Trump, on Thanksgiving Eve, Trump tweeted an image of his head on the body of Rocky Balboa, and the media is still freaking out over this. Wow. Here's the best part. Updated 3:27 p.m. EST. Following the publication of this article, the president made a surprise, unannounced visit to U.S. troops in Afghanistan on Thanksgiving. First of all, the update should say correction. The correction should be at the top, and the title should say Trump visited troops in Afghanistan for Thanksgiving. Here's what it says now. How did Trump spend Thanksgiving? Tweeting, golfing, and surprising U.S. troops in Afghanistan. And there's the photo. So check it out. When they found out that Donald Trump was actually in Afghanistan, they just put a little blurb at the bottom. A little tiny blurb at the bottom. That's all they did. They didn't change title. Was he really golfing? I don't even think he was golfing. All Thanksgiving was spent either on a plane in Afghanistan and then a plane out. So they're still trying to maintain that he was tweeting and golfing. First of all, he tweeted Happy Thanksgiving. And she's including Thanksgiving Eve to try and make him look bad? How absurd. Here's what we get. Donald Trump Jr. tweets, fake news gonna fake. Fake news versus reality. How is Trump spending Thanksgiving? Tweeting, golfing, and more. And then the photos on the right show Trump eating or handing out what looks like a tray of, I gotta admit, man, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Doesn't look like the greatest Thanksgiving dinner I've ever seen. And you know what? I hope that the U.S. is doing its best to make sure the troops are getting a good meal. But admittedly, it's really hard to make. Look, man, when you have a family dinner, you get good cooking, right? And it's really hard to do that at scale, especially when you're trying to feed all these troops. And I can only imagine Donald Trump ate the exact same thing they did. Trump, who's a celebrity billionaire, who could probably have a turkey covered in gold shipped from Italy to his plate at Mar-a-Lago in overnight import. I'm kidding, by the way, but he could. Instead, flies to Afghanistan. Now listen, man, I know there's gonna be people on the left saying Trump's just doing it for PR. I don't care why he's doing it. He did it. I can only imagine that the people in Afghanistan who are away from their families, who are in a stressful situation, are happy that they got to experience this. It's morale boosting. It's the right thing to do. Trump could be good, bad. It could be PR. It could be press. It could be re-election. I don't care what it is. He made people happy. Go for it. There's always an argument about someone's motivations and the results. And motivations are important, but results are, I don't know. I like to think more important. Admittedly, when it comes to philosophy, I think we need to think more and more about what the results will be. Will the motivation eventually supersede those results because it drives you in the wrong direction? But if the thing that gets done is good, I'm not going to sit here and argue about what you think Trump was trying to do. He did it, okay? It doesn't look like he's eating the most delicious food in the world. Granted, it's what makes Thanksgiving dinner is the people you spend it with and not the quality of your food. Because I certainly didn't grow up eating, fancy gold-covered turkeys imported from Italy. No, Walmart turkey and, some canned gravy, canned cranberry sauce that comes in that weird shape and, like regular Americans. And it was the fact that you were there with your family what made it. So here's what really happened, and Don Jr., tweeted, but Trump, not being satisfied, having played the media for fools a few times now, tweets this. I thought Newsweek was out of business. I thought so too. I obviously know Newsweek still exists, but the print edition, I think, ceased to be. But I think they revived it. So let me walk you through what happened here. They released a public schedule. The media immediately prepared their, I don't want to say hit piece, but come on, right? They're gonna, they're always looking for a way to make it seem like Trump is bad in some capacity. And here they had an opportunity to wait, to call, to see what was going on. And instead, when they found out that Trump was actually in Afghanistan, all they did was put a tiny little blurb at the bottom. Oh, just, whoop, whoop, right there. Just, we don't change the title. We don't say Trump honored the American troops by spending his Thanksgiving in Afghanistan. No. Not good enough. Listen, man, I don't like what we're doing in Afghanistan. I really don't. I think it's about time we stopped doing what we're doing in Afghanistan. There's a lot of problems. I think we spend way too much money in Afghanistan building roads when we should be fixing pipes in Flint. This is why I like Tulsi, right? Because, look, man, all of these people talking policy for 2020, it's mind-numbing to me to hear Elizabeth Warren be like, we need to tax these lazy billionaires. And I'm like, okay, I hear you, dude. But come on, man. Why are our men and women of service in service in Afghanistan right now? Can't we bring them back and spend that money fixing our own roads? And I'm not an America first, hoorah kind of person, like nationalist or anything like that. I think there is important things that we can do overseas, and there is, foreign aid that makes sense. But come on, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, none of these things are making sense anymore. Okay, we were lied to get into these wars. It's about time we stop. And before any of these politicians wants to talk about taxing those lazy billionaires, how about we bring our troops home and we spend that money fixing Flint? It's so crazy to me. I'm sitting here thinking like I'm taking crazy pills that everyone's complaining about Flint's pipes. And I'm like, yeah, that's messed up, dude. Newark's pipes are bad too. So how about we stop wasting money on foreign countries, fix our own infrastructure? That's not the way it works. So look, I can complain about what's going on in Afghanistan and still recognize that I'm not going to hold it against the troops that are there. It's bad American policy. I blame the politicians. I respect the troops for signing up and doing the job that, few would want to do. A lot of people really do want to do it, man. You got to work really, really hard to be a SEAL or a Marine, for sure. But I'm saying, we get to live here and gain weight eating 5,000 calories of turkey, cranberry sauce, turkey stuffing, and all that stuff, putting our feet up, watching football, having the good life, while there are people in Afghanistan eating off a lunchroom tray. So I have tremendous respect for that. I think it's about time we bring these these troops home, and what we're doing in Afghanistan, give them a hero's welcome, spend that money fixing our own infrastructure, fixing our roads. I think everyone can agree with that too. I wonder why it is that there seems to be a consensus among Americans about what we could be doing with this money. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here, okay? You get me started on this foreign policy stuff. I'll just wrap that up because I'll say this, man. What I've always maintained is like, how are you going to talk about taxing more people, raising taxes, when we've spent trillions of dollars in the Middle East since 9/11? It literally makes no sense. I'm sorry. It was failed. It was a lie. And now we're flushing money down the toilet. Nah. Now, I get it. A lot of the money we spend there does stay in the U.S. I get it, because they build weapons here and they do things like that. But come on, man. We're talking about tax money that can go towards fixing our own infrastructure. And that's a serious problem that needs to be solved. And I'll tell you what, yes, I understand that money is being spent within our economy to a certain degree. We are building stuff in Afghanistan, and some of the money is staying there. But fixing the pipes in the United States would also keep that money in our economy, and it would also be much better for Americans instead of, drone bombing Yemen or something. Jessica, who wrote the story, apologized, saying Trump headed to Afghanistan to surprise U.S. troops on Thanksgiving, deleting this tweet because it was written before knowing about the president's surprise visit to Afghanistan, an honest mistake. Story has been updated as shown in the screenshot. So I will first say, I don't really blame Jessica. An editor probably came down and said, can you write about Trump's schedule? And she looked at the public schedule and she wrote it up. But I will blame the media for being ready to, you know what? I don't think it's that bad that they would have written about Trump going to Thanksgiving. I think it's stupid because it's, it's like, Trump's hanging out at his house for Thanksgiving, breaking news, news 11. But I will say, the fact that when they found out they didn't update immediately. And look at this. She tweeted that she was deleting it at 7:22 p.m. Dude, we knew Trump was in Afghanistan the moment you published that story. And it took, 4 hours for you to put a little tiny blurb at the bottom saying he's actually in Afghanistan. The headline should read, Trump honors troops on Afghanistan with surprise visit. That's what Trump honors troops in Afghanistan with surprise Thanksgiving visit. And the top line should have been, Trump is foregoing a family holiday this weekend or this Thanksgiving by taking an overnight flight. They can't give him one good day. You know what I mean? Like, dude, this is how, let me tell you something. The way you never win an argument is by doing something absurd like this. Because people are going to see it and say, dude, come on, man, that's unreasonable. Trump could have been sitting by the warm fireplace, eating cranberry sauce and turkey from the finest chef in all of New York, of all of Florida. He could have been living the high life, and he decided to spend it with the troops. And that is respectable and honorable, and you got to give him that, okay? You can complain about policy, you can complain about his attitude, but if you refuse to concede that he gave up his family holiday to be with the troops, or to give them a good day, then no one's going to take you seriously. Everyone's going to see this and say, why would I think you're arguing in good faith against the president when you refuse to acknowledge that he did not spend Thanksgiving with his family? He gave that up while we got to do it. If you it's plain as day, man. This is what the media does. It's why I don't trust them. It's why so many people don't trust them, because now they're going to come out later and say, Donald Trump punched a dog, and you're going to be like, I don't believe you. I really don't, because it turns out like the dog bit Trump, so he punched it, trying to get it off of him. You know what I mean? Like some story will come out saying, Trump slapped a child, and you're like, oh man, why is this story so bad? And then it turns out it was actually like a child alligator that was biting his leg. Like they misframe it, baby attacked by Trump, and it turns out it was a baby gorilla beating up a bunch of random people. The point is, I'm being silly right now. They'll give you only tidbits so that you assume it's bad. They'll refuse to acknowledge what Trump is doing that's respectable. And then when you do that, when it comes time to say, but now let me explain to you what I don't like about it, no one's going to want to believe you. They're going to be like, dude, you know what, man? It's a matter of principle. It says to me the media is not interested in telling you the truth. Because I'll say it right now. Bravo to Donald Trump for foregoing Thanksgiving. I know that means a lot, man. People, it's the one time a year you come together with your family, you have a big meal, and then everybody sees each other, everybody travels. It's the holiday. It's what so many people wait for. It's a relaxing day. You take time off, you get a day off, and then come Friday, you storm through the front doors of Walmart, trampling over everybody else, leaving them injured so you can get a 50% off, 70-inch TV or whatever. I'm kidding about that part, but not really. So I can respect that, and then also criticize Trump's attitude. I can criticize what we're doing in Afghanistan. And then it's like, trust me when I say I really do feel these ways. Because I really doubt there will be a rational, good faith American who looks at what Trump did in Afghanistan in a negative light. But when they look at what the media did, they're going to be like, that's kind of messed up, dude. Like, come on, Anyway, you get the point. I'll leave it there. Stick around. It's Black Friday. I wonder what will happen today, and it's probably not going to be pretty. But I will see you all at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out again.